Good afternoon. Welcome to another Straight Talk About the Blended Family. Hi, I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Manuals. You know how we do it here. We have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this moment. We ask you to bless today's episode. We ask you to move by your power, God. We got an amazing show today. So touch our kids, our grandkids. Move in a special way. In the precious name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We want to give our thank yous. You know, we have to thank the Lord first for allowing us to have this opportunity to have our show. We want to thank Lionel Green and WBGR staff at the radio station.
Yeah.
We want to thank all those who are praying for us, who are praying for the show, who are supporting the show, who are sharing the show and having their night watch parties and blessing their family and friends so that this blended family thing, it can work for us, it can work for y'all, okay?
Yeah, babe. You know what? Today's show is really awesome. I don't know if y'all saw the Facebook post, but today is our blended family show. This is a special Christmas edition rather. You see I'm all pumped up because we got our kids, we got our grandkids. They're going to be coming in one moment. Listen, today is going to be happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We're going to get down. Stay tuned. It's about to break off.
So our kids are going to come on right now, and our grands, you're going to get to meet them. Y'all can come on. Slide on over here. This is Whitney. This is our daughter-in-law, Whitney. And this is our son, Mike. And this is our daughter, Tiffany. And this is baby Mikey, and that's Lotus, and that's Reagan. All right.
So before we go any further, we want the grands, especially the oldest one. Ray is going to say something to our audience. Okay, Ray.
Hi, I'm Reagan.
And listen. Here's the thing. We're gonna let the little ones get off, and they're gonna do their thing outside of the show, and then we just gonna have a conversation with our kids.
We're gonna dive in.
And we're gonna dive in and have a good time. The love shop today. So listen, tune in. Here's what you need to do. If you're at work, take your lunchtime now, get you something to eat, and tune in with your smartphones, your iPad, because today is about family, our blended family. So this time we're gonna have Reagan to take the little ones off, and we're gonna come back and we're not breaking down, we just gonna keep flowing. So the little ones are gonna be taken, so we're gonna get them off the set for this moment, because little people not gonna stay in it. So we need to get them moving and get them doing their thing. Listen, because we already see y'all see what's going on, right? And that's cool though. That's cool. Go ahead.
Go get some popcorn.
Go with Lotus.
Listen, here's the thing. Little Mikey is not ready to leave the set because he's a natural born superstar, and he is TV ready, radio ready, but we're going to get him off because listen, Tiff had to help them, but listen, we geared to dive in some stuff. And before we go forward, we want our young adult kids and our wonderful daughter-in-law to introduce themselves and say hello to y'all. Anyone start?
Hi everyone, I am Tiffany Mango, daughter of these guys on the end.
I'm Mike.
I'm Whitney, wife of Mike.
Listen, you know what? Listen, we're gonna have a good time. Listen, Whitney listen, let me just say this. Mike is my bonus son. I don't call him a bonus son, I call him my blessed son. And we just grateful that they decided. If y'all don't realize yet, we on location. We having our Christmas family vacation.
Yeah, we're on vacation.
And
so.
we're in a place where it's warm. It may be a little chilly today, but it was like 85 degrees yesterday. I'm sorry if you're in the north, and y'all dealing with snow, and even if you're in the DMV, it's pretty cold. But listen, we having some warm time family. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have some questions, and our whole goal today is to allow you to see us with our blended family.
So we all put together questions last night, and Whitney is going to read the question, and as she does, everybody's going to answer, or whoever wants to take the floor is going to answer, and we're going to dive right on it.
I'll be diving.
So
okay,
what's our first question?
Okay, first question. I guess we're just gonna jump right in. Is there any areas in your blended family that you feel can use improvement?
Go ahead, say, read that question again.
Is there any areas in your blended family that you feel can use improvement?
Wow. Go ahead, Mike. You can tackle that one, man.
I guess maybe I would prefer if we kind of live closer to each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So that we'd be able to like spend a little bit more time together. Like I'm in the south and they up north, you know. So it's like we have to kind of orchestrate
Yeah, how to get together and
events
stuff.
and different
Yeah.
kind of situations, stuff like that, to get together and be able to spend that, you know, more like quality time together. So I
Okay.
would say.
I kind of piggyback with Mike. I mean, because we're all in different locations geographically. But what I love about Tiff and Mike is that they made the decision in Whitney for us to kind of just zero in and getting together during this Christmas season so we can just spend some time together. And so basically that particular point, Mike just want to let you know that if you have this same challenge, I think it's beautiful when you make a decision, everybody get together and make a decision. Say, let's get together and bring our distances in one place. And that's what you're doing. That's what we're doing today.
Okay. Next question. What advice would you give to someone who was introduced to their blended family at a later age?
Y'all want me to answer that? Y'all answer. Who want to take that question?
Okay, I'll take it.
Take it.
So the advice, like, what advice I would give to the parents or the?
To anyone.
Anyone, the children. or-
At a later age.
So I would say,
Because you're talking young adults.
right. So I would say for the adults or for the parents, I would definitely make sure that they're introduced and cultivate a space where they can, like, I guess, get to know each other. Like, you create that environment. And then the other, I would say, as an adult, like, just reach out to your new siblings and figure out how y'all can, like, come together.
So what,
it's like,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
yeah, right. Like, you know, I think being open and kind of being able to communicate and stuff like that is important as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Tiffany and I had moments where we where we made sure that we kind of did stuff or stayed connected, or, you know what I mean, went places, whatever, you know, like whenever like the opportunity arose, that we kind of made the most of the opportunity that we had to kind of connect and get to know each other and stuff like that.
So what both of y'all are saying is that it's important to make the connection.
Yeah, because what I think is different is that if you are younger, you depend on the adult and
Yes.
the parent to, like, form you together. Okay, get here, and then, but you can't really. I don't think that's the mindset you can have as an adult, because I mean, you could live in 2 different states, but make sure, like, okay, if it's gonna be holiday time or I'm in your city, like, hey, what you doing? Like,
Exactly.
in your city, like, hey, I'm actually coming here. I'm here for a weekend. Like, can we hook up? Like, let's get together.
Yeah.
Just having, like, making that
Oh, the
effort.
effort.
Yeah, making that effort.
Because I
to
mean,
get together.
like when they first got together, we was basically grown.
Yeah.
Like we was off at college
Mhm.
and whatnot. So, you know, it's like, you know, you could have those times where it's just everything is kind of separate, and if you want to leave it separate, then it'll stay like that. But if you want to put forth effort to build a relationship, or at least see if, you know, you can build a relationship, you know, I mean, you got to put forth that effort and be kind of open and communicate and just
Yeah.
try.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
Mike, that's the key
Right.
word right there.
Yeah.
And it may seem insignificant, but when you listen, let's be honest. We understand that we have young adults that are our children. Bonus, blessings, and vital. And so when Tiffany and Mike made the decision on their own, my wife and I, Michelle and I, we did not really we gave out some pointers, we threw some things out there that they could think about doing, some recommendations, but like Mike and Tiffany said, I think you have to make the decision to try to connect and understand that we want to be a family. And sometimes, even in your nuclear family, when they become college age and they get older, I see during the holiday season, because my wife and I, we counsel blended families as well as nuclear families, that everybody kind of go their own way once they get older. And we forget about the core principle of the family. It's really like being together, especially those moments during holidays. I think one of the things that, because most people, when they grown and they got their own jobs and careers and their own families, they spend more time with their immediate family, which is great. But when you get together and say, listen, let me do this, let me connect with Mike and let Tiffany and Mike vice versa with Tip, then we create that forum to where, man, this is really going to be awesome because they're coming to where we are and we're connecting. And even when I get to their city, boom, I'm going to reach out. So I think we want to give you some ideas to try to work with that during the holiday season. You don't have to wait till the holiday season. Do it anytime you're in their city or y'all close. Try to connect and just hook up.
And I think it just worked out. I mean, it just so happened that both of us are like kind of people's persons and we talkative and, you know, like we have a number of things that kind of just go well together. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it does.
Yeah, because there's a compatibility there and mutual understanding of getting back to that place. And like Mike said, I do. You know, I think it makes it easier when, and let me say this real quick because we will move on. When you understand that if I let my guard down, because I really don't know Mike, I really don't know Tip, so let me just try to get to know them and don't assume they're those type of people because their parents are just getting together. Don't assume that your new brother or your new sister may take on that. No, just try. Give it a shot. Don't just let it just lay there and say, well, I don't really know Tiffany, I don't really know Mike. So, you know, they're not my blood. And like, I love what my wife says. She said, throw blood out the window in the blended family.
Blended family. Yeah.
Throw it out the window.
Sometimes blood don't really matter anyway.
Yeah, how about that? How
No,
about
keep it
that?
real, man. Just straight talk.
Because there's some blood relatives
That won't
that
put
will
effort.
stab you in the back of the heartbeat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And won't put effort to talk and to hang out. Like,
Absolutely.
connect.
Absolutely.
And y'all came out the same parents. That same circle and
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, you're right.
they separated. Okay, Whip.
All right, next question.
Here we go. Oh, okay. What would you tell a couple to do with grown children who want to create a platform to connect? This is a two-part question, kind of continuing on from what we did. And then the second part is, what would you tell the children? So I guess it's kind of almost similar to what we just did, just giving pointers.
Yeah, we kind of flowed over that question because it's some. Let me tell you something. All these folks on this platform, they're bright. They just so intelligent.
The one thing I would just say,
Sure.
just using like the word platform, I think I took it from Peach when she was saying like it has to. You got to create something to get there. Like for instance, a trip, or hey, so and so is getting married, or someone's having a baby. Do you think you can come out?
Right.
Do you,
Exactly.
you know, like create that kind? I think that's the platform I'm thinking about.
No, that's the right.
It's
Exactly.
like, hey, somebody's graduating.
Exactly.
Let's get together.
A special
and
moment.
You know, like a special moment.
Yeah.
Those are places where I feel like maybe the parental level could be like, hey, let's celebrate.
Yeah, we
this
can
together.
filter.
Like,
We
how
can facilitate that.
Right.
As parents, we want to be able to facilitate that and let them know and invite them. Because one thing about our family that we really talk hard about, audience, is loving one another.
Right.
Or loving to life. And loving one another doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that you don't have some things, some hiccups and some things that you don't, some quirks you don't like, maybe about your brother or sister. But you learn to allow those things not to become obstacles, but opportunities. A lot of times in families, we let stuff, when you really think about it, especially when we're talking about young adults, we let the small stuff keep us separated. You know, and my wife, I'm really borrowing her stuff because she is awesome. She said, if it's not life-threatening, we should not let that become a mountain, but allow that to be an opportunity to communicate. We're letting you in on our blended family this holiday season. We want you to know we got some more stuff coming. Hang in there.
All right, next
All right,
question.
next question.
Okay, do you think that it is important to have a conversation, a personal conversation with your new upcoming bonus child?
Go ahead. You take that one. baby.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think that you pressure them to, like you or attached to you, but you just gradually, you love them and you just gradually give them space, but at the same time you build opportunities, where y'all connect and y'all talk, and because once you build that that trust, once you build it, then they'll come to you. They'll talk to you. You know what I mean? It won't be a one-sided thing. So
I think, let me pick it up there. I think when we first started dating, I met Mike. We had like a 2 or 3 hour conversation because what I wanted to try to do is start setting a connecting culture with Mike. Even though I'm not his biological dad, I was his bonus dad. And one of the things I told Mike, I'm not here to replace your biological dad. I'm just here to be that instrument and maybe give you some recommendations or advice and to support you and your mom, because the thing I've realized is that Mike was already a young adult. So I didn't have to form him. I was trying to form a relationship with him. And so I think now, 16 plus years later now, because I had that conversation, he asked me some really straight up point question, which I walked away from that 2 hour session really feeling blessed that Mike was honest. He's always been honest. I can only tell you in our relationship, he's always been honest. He's always been candid with his questions. And I'm the type of guy, I'd rather for you to be candid with me than just give me a sleeper question down the road or tell me something that's not really in your mind or really what you want the answer for. So I think it's important that you do develop a relationship with your bonus son or daughter.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I was already like kind of grown or whatever, college age, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, the most important part was just the fact that like my mom being happy. You know what I mean? Because like I'm already grown. I don't even live in the house anymore, really. So, it's like it's not that child dynamic where you have to have like the extra hurdles of like living together all the time, like daily and stuff like that. So, we just had a good conversation of just kind of getting to know one another and so I could see his perspective and he could see mine, and like I just wanted to make sure that from my perspective, that look, as long as my mom happy, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like as long as you take care of my mom, I don't like the way that y'all came together and where I'm at in life and all that kind of stuff. Like we not. It's not really a stage set to clash like that, Yeah. Plus, I'm kind of like open to meeting people and like new experiences, different stuff like that. So it just wasn't the type of situation where I guess it was able to really be strenuous like that. As long as they had a good relationship, then there's no reason for me to not like you or have a problem with you, so to say. Right. And also, I guess for me also, I didn't grow up with my dad and my mother in the same home anyway. So it's not like one of those other dynamics where it's like I grew up with my mom and my dad for this long in the same home, and then now they separated and then this that So I think that just specifically for our situation, it just kind of wound up working out like that, where as long as my mom is happy and they having a healthy relationship, that's all I really cared about, because I felt like she deserved that.
That's awesome.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah. If y'all don't see Tiff, we got a little granddaughter that's 2.
Yeah, it's real.
And it's real. Y'all walked into our family, so she had to move out to take her back there, because but she gonna come back. She's gonna come back. But no, we are on a family vacation, but we know that we love our blended family audiences, and we want you guys to see us real. I don't have a bow tie on today. I'm chilling. My wife ain't dressed to the 10. We're just chilling, because sometimes when we look at people on television and radio or whatever, we listen to them rather, we don't know if they're really real. We don't know all the things that they're saying on the air is real until you meet their family. And let me just say this real quick. We have an awesome blended family. Mike is, I don't look at Mike as being my bonus son. I look at him being my blessed son. He is tremendous, and all the things that he has done in our relationship. Yeah, Tiff is about to come back in. Again, we know that she has a lot going on with the little one. Little Lotus? Yeah, Lotus bringing it. So listen, next question.
What would you say is the biggest takeaway of gaining a new brother or sister that isn't related by blood?
Ooh, that's a question for Mike and Tim.
All right, say it one more time.
Okay.
It's hot. Putting it down.
What would you say is the biggest takeaway of gaining a new brother or sister that isn't related by blood?
As long as they're a good person, I would say that you have another person in your life that you can build with. You know, like outside of the fact that you just became family through marriage, right? I mean, just in general, meeting good people is always a plus to your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, you know, meeting toxic people, just like meeting toxic people is more than likely going to become a hindrance to your life. So I would say, you know, as long as they are good people and, like, you have something decent to build off of, then that's a plus and an add to your life. So, you know, whether it comes from just calling in to talk about something and they actually have like helpful things to say, or just something basic as like just being a happy person and like y'all can laugh, and if you do have issues going on, y'all laughing can kind of, you know, help to brighten up your day or whatever like that. You know what I mean? So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I think that I don't really have any more words I think I can use, but because you said everything, it really is. It's like an extension, another extension of like support or a voice, or like I was, you know, able to like text Whitney and be like, I'm going through such and such, such and such, you know, and so for her and I to share something like that, and that might have been the first, maybe the second or third time we actually texted about something, and I was like, I actually, you know, I was able to be myself. I didn't even think about like, oh, what if she think this about me? I literally was like, hey, blah, 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 blah is going on. What you feel? She was like, cool. Like, don't worry about it. So it was like another voice. Even Mike too, like, I need help. I need support. Like, I need this. And it's just like another, you just open up another link of support.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, okay. Like, it's just somebody that you can count, like, literally can count
And
on.
then even for that, I mean, that's like a extra level of like our family as well, because like, so we step siblings or whatever, right, or bones family, whatever you want to call it. We family, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then I got married, and then they just kind of even formed their own thing,
Yeah.
just on their own. Or whatever.
Right,
But
right.
Once again, that's just coming into like people being open like that,
And good
you know,
people, yeah.
right? And good people, yeah. But I mean, I don't know, throughout life, I don't know, but like people always gravitated toward my mom, and like they like, so I always had like bonus family.
I got you.
I feel you,
So
man.
true.
That's
That's
awesome.
so true.
God sisters and cousins and everybody else out there that's, you know, that's done my blood, and that was from you. I'm talking about even from like Christmas presents and all that, like being young, you know what I mean? Like listen,
Like, this is from Auntie so
I think it was for me, you know, like spreading the love around. It's like, all right, you know.
Oh man, that's
great.
really awesome. That you know, you guys have really said, and that's what our family is really about. I mean, a lot of times people look at my wife and I, and they look at this idea like, is this? And y'all don't say it, but we know, we've been around. Is this really the family? All this love that they have for one another on the show, and is that really real? And I'm gonna pull Whitney in on this. This is a surprise. This is a surprise. But I'm gonna lead. I'm gonna give you a lead in with, because Whit is awesome. Whit is so awesome. She's a wonderful daughter-in-law. She's not bonus. She's daughter-in-law. But Whit said this to me, and she said, what y'all see on the radio streaming live?
What you love?
on y'all- yeah, go ahead, Whit. I'm done. I'm trying to answer your question. I was trying to lead
I
you
was
in
gonna
it.
let you. It was. Well, and really, I've even talked to, at this point, Mike and Tiff about it. Is literally them 100%. So I'm laughing at it, watching like this is literally. I can call on the phone. This is the real Papa D and Mama Peachy that you are getting live every week. Like, it's not scripted from the laugh. I mean, the one of a kind laugh.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally.
There you go. It's about to get revved up.
Yeah.
See, y'all don't know. Her laugh is just phenomenal. Wherever we are.
Like, so they are, when they say keeping it 100, is literally that. It's not scripted. It's this is real. So,
Wow.
you know, they're really sharing who they really are with their audience. So it's awesome.
Yeah, next question.
Next question.
Great job, Whit. Awesome.
Okay, let's see. Okay, would you say your blended family journey was easier having the support of someone like, you know, your dad, Doc D, and Mama Peachy as your parents, your influencers? Like, would it make it easier having someone like that in your corner? Or,
Wait, did we go to this question last night? Wait, I need to bring one more time. Is it
Oh,
easier to
like, would you say it's
Okay.
easier?
Yes.
Sorry.
or like in my blended family that I
Right,
have?
from your personal experience, like, do you think it made it easier with how they were handling it? Like, you know, as the support
I'm
system,
sorry.
as, you know.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think that just because they have like presented themselves. I mean, of course, like my dad lived through all my life, right, until adult, and then Peachy when she came in, it was to see their chemistry. It's like, okay, this can be like really done, you know, like a second marriage can be done and actually work, and everyone can be happy. And then you can have like your own marriage and your own family and things like that. So I would say it makes it easier, and not even easier, it makes it like obtainable. Like you're like, oh, this can actually work. Versus seeing something that's so broken, that can be broken. It's like, ooh, can this happen? You gave like the hope, I guess.
Is it helping you with your blended family? Because you're married into a blended family, so
Are you approach
have you like
on
taken
things?
have you taken
Right.
any notes, you know, and it applied?
Yes,
and,
lots of notes.
Okay.
And it's helping.
Yes, yes. One of the things. Let me chime in. Let me chime in real quick. I think that one of the things that my wife and I made sure, even before God gave us this platform, was to be a blended family couple. Did not try to sugarcoat it, but to understand that you can be very successful. You can care about one another and care about your bonus and biological kids. And just to be that living example. Because, listen, we get it. Being a millennial and marry someone with children, or even if you don't have children, getting into a family requires work. It requires patience. The blended family, you got to rev up patience to a whole nother level. Because psychologists say normally it takes 3 to 6 years for a blended family to even look like they meshing. Some of it can be shorter based on the personalities and the maturity of the blended family couple, but it still takes a lot of work because you're dealing with different personalities, whether they're in the home or whether they're on the outside. Maybe you went through a divorce and you're getting ready to marry someone that has children, or that person is going to marry you, and you're not sure how to navigate, especially if you're looking at your parents that maybe got remarried and their relationship doesn't seem as healthy. And so what we try to do, not put on fronts, but to show you that you can go from existing to excelling in the blended family through our lives. Because we have a phenomenal marriage, a phenomenal blended family. And that's what we want. Because my daughter said it best. You deserve to have hope. That you don't have to ride that same wave that maybe your parents did and they got divorced, or maybe your new parents did when they got remarried. You can be the standard setter. You can create a family that loves their bonus and biological brothers and sisters and one another. And so what we want you to understand, that if you go in with somebody you can draw from that's healthy, draw from them. Yes, sure. Slip in.
Saying that, would you recommend, Peach and Dad? Would you recommend, you know how you do like premarital counseling at the beginning?
Yes.
If you know like it's gonna be a blended family, would you recommend a certain amount of weeks that y'all go to counseling before the marriage?
Without a doubt.
With the kid, I'm saying like the
That's what we do. I'm glad. Great question.
We I'm like, do the kids just come out in the afternoon? Like,
No,
y'all got it together, and then the kids like, okay,
no,
figure out
no,
what to blend.
Go ahead,
So
babe.
normally the premarital counseling,
blended family.
it takes about 12 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, normally we do
Takes about
12 weeks.
So
It depends on the couple.
within that time frame, like you'll have like one or two with the couple.
Okay.
then you bring the kids in to have a couple. And if it goes well, then you know they're, you know what I mean, then you know they're cohesively bonding. Or at least starting the bonding
Do
process.
y'all do counseling with the children like separately?
Well,
If
if they're
they're-
minors,
if they're old
if they're
enough.
minors, we don't. If they're old enough, we do, because we
Right.
believe that the parents see the laws. The law said you cannot counsel a minor without the parents. You got to be careful.
Right.
Well, when I say minor, I'm talking about 5 and 6 years old. You know, yeah, you got to be really careful because they can.
I thought those 6-year-olds go having therapy sometimes.
No, but when you're talking about blended families, so when you're bringing, because that's not my dad, that's not my biological dad.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that's not my biological mother. So you gotta be, because it's
Okay.
really, you gotta be careful. So what we like to tell them, because they don't know us, and they may not know the mom or dad that's gonna come in their life, and
They
when you
should.
no, but
Right.
they should,
They
yes.
should have
Well,
been
see,
introduced.
in a perfect
Yeah.
world, when I talk about no, when I talk about, but when I talk about no, I'm not talking about have an introduction. I'm talking about spending some quality time
right.
with those potential new parents. And a lot of kids, because you got to realize, if they're teenagers, for example, they've already formed their opinion about the new mom that's coming in to maybe want to take the place of my biological mom, and so it's kind of sticky. So what we like to tell them is that for a few times we like to have sessions. Say that example, if they're 16, we want to have some sessions with you outside of your parents, and you be honest with us. And what you share with us, we're not sharing with your parents. We're gonna keep this in confidence as long as it's not destructive. You know, because then, but see, even if you don't
But
like,
if it's a legitimate concern, then
then we bring it to
we're
the
going to
parents.
help. We're going to help.
We're gonna bring it
you
to
know,
the adults.
navigate
And this
the
is a
situation.
concern that your new or your prospective bonus daughter is having about your husband, your potential husband, that she doesn't feel comfortable in XYZ. And what we often tell the biological parents, that you create the bridge for them to accept your new husband or your new wife. You are the facilitator. Don't let your, I'm sorry, I know y'all may not like this, but I'm sorry, bonus dad and bonus mom, you don't facilitate the biological children's understanding of you because you haven't bonded with them. And so we got to take time to build that relationship and cultivate that. So that's what we talk about in counseling. And my wife and I, what we do talk about in counseling is a love shop. We tell them immediately, if you're going to get married, at least once a week, maybe twice a month, that you set some time apart and y'all get in a circle and y'all talk about mostly positive things. But if you have to say some things that maybe not be positive, we always tell the kids to be respectful, okay? And to make sure that it's available,
honest and
honest and respectful. Here's what we tell the parents. Make sure that you start off with love and end with love.
And no punishment zone.
Yeah,
You know,
if they say
if they're
something,
being honest, you know, they
you don't punish them.
Yeah, don't punish them.
you
for
know,
that. Right.
just respectful and honest.
But
and-
just ask them why they're feeling that way.
Yeah,
you know what I
because
mean?
you start to
Ask
have
them
a
what's
little
going on,
conversation.
You know, exactly. You know, because you want to teach, you want to add to the situation. You want to hopefully come out, because hopefully at the end of the love shop, it's going to turn into a game night. You know what I mean?
Right, 'cause so
You
we
know,
take it from one
or
level.
a movie night or something.
Yeah,
You know.
and so what we always say, if you have kids, you let the kids create the menu for food on the first love shop. Kids may want some pizza, they may want some wings, or whatever you allow them to eat. And let them do it, because what you're doing, you're allowing them to already start expressing some things that will make them happy. And let me say
And they feel a part.
yeah,
know
you
what I
want to
mean?
make
They
them feel
a part.
connected. And I need to say this too. Parents, listen. Let them kids be who they are, and let them have an opportunity to be honest with you outside of the love shop. Be willing to listen. Be willing to, okay, my bonus son, example, my bonus son really don't like his bonus mom. I mean his biological mother. And you, the biological parent, here's my recommendation for both parents, and you're going into this premarital counseling. Please, biological mom and dad, tell them some things that your kids like, and tell them tell them some things what they don't like. Share those things that they struggle with. Don't let the boneless dad or mom just come in there and get blown up because they don't know the tendencies
Or
of
blindsided.
of your
Oh,
children.
look, hold on. Remember
Yeah.
this part that we was talking and we was discussing how what if you was starting to blend right, but then like the biological child and parent don't really even get along anyway.
Well,
You
then
remember we talking about that? Like,
Yeah.
like what would you recommend for?
I recommend-
How am I supposed to build with like let's say if me and my mom didn't get along, and now you coming in with her? I mean, it's kind of like team y'all. And,
right.
you know what I mean?
Well, I think one of
Or
the,
you and him bonding, and y'all get along, but we not bonding. I mean, we not getting along. We clashing,
Right. I mean,
and
that's,
then
yeah,
so
that
he
would be
could
what- I
be
can
the
see that
bridge.
as being straight.
He
Yeah.
could be the bridge to help us.
That too, but
work
then how
things
to,
out.
like, what would y'all recommend for that child to do?
Well, first
to,
of all-
to get along with, you know what I mean, to kind of blend with that one.
yeah, I think one of the things you could do is offer some child counseling. Because sometimes that child, you got to find out, because all blended families start from a loss of relationship, where they're no longer with the biological dad or biological mom. They've moved out. And so now what you have, and this is what we talk about, a lot of times when you form your blended family, you got to realize the anxiety and the grief that the kids go to. Because they really want their parents, a lot of kids really want their parents, especially if they're minors.
Right.
They want their parents to reconnect, but that's not the case. So you should be aware of listening and giving them some counseling. Give them some, say, listen, maybe we got to go to counseling, because it's a reason why they don't like one
I was
another.
gonna say, so you're saying there is a reason that can possibly be discovered. Like they're not just acting or not liking.
No,
their
but
mom for
it's
reason.
something,
behind
because
that.
it's something. It may be in their psyche that I didn't want my mom to marry him anyway, and I didn't want my dad to marry him anyway. And so the reality is that if we don't listen, we got real stuff going on. So I think yeah, we're a little distracted because we got little people running around, and you may hear some noise in the background, but this is our family. But that's a great question, and I think the real important thing is this: understanding that if there's a problem, like Mike said, don't ignore it, because a lot of times with adults, we ignore it and say, they just being who they, no,
Right.
there's some real stuff going on in their mind. And so I think it's important, even with let me say this, and this has happened, with the biological parent that's not in a new relationship, they try to sabotage the new relationship by pouring negative stuff in their kids about the person that their mom or dad is married to. We find that happens all the time. And so the kids becomes the pawn
Right.
in the relationship to try to sabotage, especially if, for example, if you have a husband that marries a new wife,
Right.
and his previous wife or girlfriend, significant, she is alone now. And so the new husband is presenting this united, happy front, and they had kids together. We see it happen all the time. That the unhappy parent is going to try to sabotage that relationship that's happy and healthy. And so they use the kids to do that.
And then, I mean, what would you recommend for a parent and a child, even like before? All right, so like if let's say somebody parents are going through a divorce, right?
Right.
And then it's issues with the child and their biological parents for whatever reasons. You know what I mean? Because they might be approaching things from their perspective about maybe what they assume their parents could have done, even though the parents more than likely don't tell them all of the details of the situation. But you know what I mean? Like, so now they kind of making assumptions, or they trying to figure out
That's when you
whatever
bring
is going on. But look,
Yeah.
right? So how would you recommend that those parents try to build and get their connection proper together with their children before they even go to find new love or whatever, or before they even make a connection with somebody else outside of that, like
Well,
spend that time with
I
them?
would recommend that to a certain degree, because if you're not careful You gotta remember
You
this.
will bring
That's
that baggage
toxic.
into a new relationship.
That's what I'm saying.
right?
Like fixing the situation or trying to get it.
Well,
Something, you know what I mean?
I
Right,
think
before you
if
make
the
something
adults are
just
willing to
down.
sit down, my
Yes.
recommend if the adults are willing to sit down to strategize about how we can make our kids not so much as understand, because kids will never understand why parents get separated in divorces. I don't care if they're 5, I don't care if they're 35. There's going to be some things left out, but that's a part of development and maturity. But I would recommend, again, I'm big on counseling, that if you see this as an issue, that y'all can come to a counseling table and talk about those issues first, and then bring your kids in there. Because a lot of times what we don't do, adults talk about stuff and don't ever talk about bring their kids involved. Now, you have to understand too, though, that parents that are in a broken relationship, more than likely, they're not going to want to have, during that brokenness time, let me say this, while they're broken, while they're together, and they're getting ready to get separated, divorced, most parents are not going to come together and say, let's make this right for our children. I'm just dealing with realness because of the toxicity or of the hurt that's involved. When people are hurt, they're not going to be healthy. They're going to hurt other people. You know, and then they're going to start blaming, it's your father's fault that we get in a divorce, or it's your mother's fault that we get in a divorce. And it could be both people's fault. I don't believe divorce
Most of the time
happens
it's both.
by just one person. Now, the level of the anxiety or the anguish or the anger may be different based on what took place. But we're not trying to, here's the thing, we're not trying to solve the problem why we got a divorce or why we got separated. What we're trying to do is to be advocates that we both can be civil around the kids. The kids should never become pawns. And so what happens, Mike, in that scenario, and I understand, because I think a lot of times the kids get left out, but you got to also recognize too that these kids today are brilliant. They know how to play that game of having you not leave. And here's what I tell you this, and I know people won't get upset with me on this. Don't stay in a toxic, hellish marriage for the kids. Because all you doing is bringing more hurt, more brokenness to those kids. And let me tell you something. When those kids go into their own relationship, all they're going to do is have those memories of when mom and dad was fussing and cussing and treating each other badly. And those memories and those seeds don't leave because you become adult. You end up rehearsing those in your relationship.
Yeah.
And so we got to know when to say, what I'm saying, I'm not an advocate of divorce. I am an advocate of children of divorce and of broken relationship, not even married, that they become healthy, that they get better. Because what my wife and I see, your mom and I see all the time when we counsel people is because they stay too long. And they are miserable. Now the kids are in a relationship and they're treating their new wife or new husband the same way that their parents. They do that. And sometimes it happens unconsciously,
Right.
you know. And so what I'm saying is that if you can work it out, get a third party, objective party. Don't sit and let me just say this to y'all too. Don't get a family member to be an objective party because they're gonna take somebody's side. They're gonna take who they like and who they don't like. I never really liked it anyway. So I'm glad. I'm just telling you what happens.
Let me say
Yes.
this, right? So,
Sure.
I always thought that counseling was something that was outside of what we do, right? But then to have like the premarital counseling, because that was like an important thing for me or whatever. You know what I mean? That we did that. So doing that, I just want to put out to people like it's more of something that it make you more so like reflect on yourself. It's like you go through like these different not programs but
Steps.
like different
Situations,
like
whatever.
steps and
It's a life journey.
It's
Right, no, but
self-evaluation.
I'm talking about in the
The
counseling.
counseling.
In the
Like,
counseling.
in the counseling.
We-
like,
we
you
had
go through
different
these
programs.
Modules.
Like, yeah, it's like
Modules.
modules or
Right.
programs
Okay.
or something. Yeah, like
Yeah.
where you just had these different things where you kind of like reflecting on yourself, and then y'all come back to the table and talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's I recommend it for people that's thinking about getting married. Like even if you're thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all far enough along in y'all relationship where you thinking about it. and you just try it out, and at least you'll learn some things about yourself, and you'll learn some things about your partner, and like, because everybody not talk, like, apparently we all talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk.
And
You know
because
what I'm
we doing this
saying?
interview, you know, we're a little, you know, you chill, you know, we chilling, you
Yeah,
know,
because this one
talking
ain't
away,
telling
you know.
today. I don't know
But-
what's going on.
But we're all loud, we're all, you know,
Yeah.
talkative and you
But
know,
I would agree. Going to
we
counseling
all
doesn't
laugh.
make you crazy. It's not
Right.
weird.
Say
It's
that,
nothing to
Whitney.
think
Exactly.
anything about. It's literally just tapping into things you might have not thought about.
Yeah.
Because that's even how we felt. Like after certain sessions, we would talk and be like, you know, or that did this, that I didn't even think about that. So it just kind of opens you up. Because there's things you might not know about yourself, right? When you say it's
Right.
kind of helping you.
And then you kind of like, oh, my partner thinks this about themselves,
Right.
and then you know what I'm saying, they looking at yours, because it's like different steps and modules and whatnot where you have to do things individually and then
Right.
come back to the table with the counselors. I mean,
And they were
in all,
great. They gave
I'm about
us
to say,
homework.
in all
You know,
openness,
we
like
had-
we actually counseled with them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like one of the things, like, you know, kind of I wanted to make sure that we had somebody that was objective too, but, and it's like these, you know, I don't know, she was,
Well,
yeah, it's
Well,
like,
one thing though, I would say, like with the 100, like even with that, even though we knew them, it was when we were in the session, it was literally like, okay, I do know who you are with, I know who you are, Mike, but did you do your assignment? Like it was just literally,
Right.
it was taken
and
like,
they treated us like we
yeah,
was
like we were
clients or
literally,
whatever.
right,
that
and
was
that's
one
how
of the
I
things
felt it
we
was
kinda-
important.
Yeah,
we didn't know it would be weird, awkward, but I mean,
Right.
the whole setup was just, you know, I mean, and they help push you, like help guide you, like, okay, you can do this. Like even if, you know, being honest, it would be a time where, because we were really busy and something, just say something didn't get done that we were assigned. So when that next week came, it was as if I felt like I was back in school. Because because they were just like, oh, you didn't do, I mean, it was literally, I
we
felt,
held them accountable.
yes.
Sure.
So it's, I think it's very important to talk, you know.
Yeah, then
to-
we had to just make ways around, like, all right, look, we gotta get this done. Though,
Yes.
right? So whatever we need to do, and whether it's when the child
Right.
went to sleep or whatever, like,
Whatever.
it's whatever, like,
Yeah.
whenever we could fit it in, like we had to get the assignment done, and,
Nice.
and it was like it was
Definitely.
important. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, thank you both. I think, and we enjoyed counseling with Whit and Mike, and we counsel, trust me, we counsel a lot of people. But I think with the counseling piece, if it helps the adults, it's going to help the children
For sure.
because it flows down.
Absolutely.
Whether you get it or you don't. Because marriage should not be a short-term investment. Marriage should be a lifetime. I'm using the word investment on purpose. Because we all invest in something. Time, purpose, business, education, it's an investment. When you take the blended family and understand how valuable your blended family is or can be, then you can walk into this blended family system and understand that you can create an environment. And like with Mike and Whit and Tiffany and her blended family, and Mike and them not in the blended family, but they're part of our blended family, just so, since y'all may ask me that question. But the thing I'm saying to you is that you want to, these millennials that's our kids, they going to reach people that we cannot reach. That may be in a blended family, and they can say, you know, Doc D, Michelle, our family gave us this and that. So we just want to share this with you because we don't believe in holding stuff in and holding stuff secret.
That's right.
Because what we give them, we expect them to give to somebody else.
That's right.
And that person can give to somebody else, because we all should be concerned about the blended family system. Because right now, that is the #1 family system in America. You may be in a nuclear family where you got the same parents, but that's really over with. There's marriage and remarriage.
My thing is that, I mean, just, you know, kind of speaking about it just
Sure.
from like a different type of perspective, like,
That's fine.
all of our kids are they gotta grow up together. So,
Yes.
you know what I mean, the more, basically I'm saying that like the more toxicity that we put out, the more like the next generation of children and everything else is gonna be toxic to
That's
be
right.
coming together, and they just gonna make more toxicity.
So it's like
That's
breaking
right.
So
the
it's like,
cycle.
yeah,
That's
it's
right.
like breaking the cycle. It's
Yeah.
important. You know what I mean?
That's
good,
Y'all-
man. That's
we all
good.
know what. It's a lot of things that life has presented us in a lot of things that we've been through and so on and so forth. But the children is what we leaving behind. So, you know what I'm saying? As like, you know, when we pass or whatever, like
Right.
that's what we leaving behind. So it's like, you know what I mean, trying to set them up and put them in a good position to succeed and, you know, have other children. The more people that's able to bring each other up, the better off they'll be. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
No,
You
that's-
know what
no,
I mean?
that's
And
exactly
like,
what you're
all
saying.
over the place, like even outside the blended families or whatever. You know what I mean? If you never wind up getting remarried or whatever, like making sure that you help your child to like piece together themselves again after you're divorced or just whatever. You know what I mean? I just think like all of that's
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
And then
Okay.
And before we go on to the next question, I just wanted to let everybody know that I know y'all hearing them calling me Peachy. That's my nickname. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
real.
No, it's cool. It's real.
It's real. That's right. It's
And
real.
when she called Papa
That's
D,
right. That's
I'm
right.
Papa D.
That's
And
right.
it's real.
That's right. And I'm Nana Peach. Okay. So
Yeah, we keeping it 100. I'm loving this, man. Go ahead, Whit, with the next
we are
question.
your vibrant grandparents. Okay.
Yeah.
We not, you know.
very
All right.
lively.
That's right. Okay.
I
So
think this one is good, and everybody can probably take a brief second and just do it because even with life period, like I have an app on my phone that sometimes, you know, things might be going on, and it'll just have a pop up like, you know what, name 3 things that made you smile today, or 3 things that. So it's like, you know, even if something might be going on, I feel like this is even something you could do with your family. So I guess everybody, we can start with you, Tiff, really quick if you want to go first, maybe. So name 3 things that you love about your blended family.
Oh my goodness. Okay, 3 things. I would say connection, positive connection. I love that we have love. And my third one is like laughter. Like laughter is so good for the
Definitely a
soul.
lot of laughter.
And, like, never a dull moment.
okay.
I have to take the connection, support, and I'm trying not to say what you said. Those is like it's the
Well, if it's- if
That's-
you
yeah, I'm just saying that's the good
agree,
stuff.
if you
though.
agree,
Yeah, that's the good
Right.
stuff. It's like,
You know who we
it
are.
is.
You'll get another word that means the same thing, Bobby.
Alright,
I mean, you know.
in either openness or laughter
Okay.
because we do a lot of
Laughter
laughter.
is awesome. What you think?
Oh, you're not
Oh,
answering?
well, it was blended family, but I was knowing that about this family is, I mean, I love how we're all able to talk with each other, so the communication is there. The honesty, I don't ever feel like I've just been told something from anyone. Is literally you know, you can talk about anything and not feel embarrassed about it. And then third, I would just say how, like, feeling accepted. I honestly felt like it was never a moment where I didn't feel, I guess, going along with love, you know. So I would say the acceptance is also something that I would go with. So.
All right. I'm going to say the love, the fun, because we have a fun family. You know, we're always doing stuff, and we are, we're open. We're communicators. So,
I would first say that I believe we all have each other's best interests at heart
yes,
in this blended
yes.
family. And there's no judgment zone because as humans we all make mistakes. I got my hand in, foot up, but I think and I also think the capacity to forgive in this family is huge. And I think for me, the last thing I would just say, the true care. I mean, it goes beyond measure. If one of us one of the kids or grandkids are having a challenge, we really care about what their outcome is going to be, how they're feeling. It's not like, oh, you know, she's grown, she can have. No. And the last thing I say, I'm going to have 4. This is
That's actually
because
fine.
that's right. Okay, that's
It's all
fine.
right.
Keep me in line. But one of the things.
Get that 5 out.
Let me get that 5 out real
Yeah.
quick. One of the things I love about this family, we will pray for one another.
For sure.
We will pray for one another. I called Mike, I went and say, listen, we need to pray for Tiff. We need to pray. And it was like, they didn't say, well, no, we're on it. And so, and I think that's the beauty of the blend, our blended family. I almost said the mega blended family. But anyway, so next question.
Yeah, or she need to pray for us. Or
Right.
Y'all praying for both of us.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know, we can like call y'all or
That's
something. It's like,
Right.
look, we got stuff going on. We need to, you
Yes.
know, like y'all to put that prayer in.
And it's no judgment. It's no like, no.
Y'all got like a whole like prayer group.
Right.
Like, all right, we gonna put it in the group. You know what I mean? Like,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. We made a couple groups, okay?
Right, exactly.
One of our groups is throughout the United States, so
Yeah.
I guess the last one was just if there was anything that we would like to just say to the audience, like anything encouraging that we would like to give a message.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay,
Go ahead,
I
Tiff.
can start. Man, this whole session has been really encouraging for me. Like outside of myself, it's kind of weird, but just like make sure you connect and don't worry about like who you were, who you are. Like don't worry about what I want to say, the condition. Like don't worry about your
the
condition,
dynamics or
the
whatever.
dynamics. Like
Yeah.
just be who you are and accept and just be present so that let your family kind of mold and support what it'll look like, I guess. I don't know. My words are kind of coming together.
That's
but
all
like,
right. No.
you know, just
That's
like
good.
don't worry about the condition that you're in. Know that who you are, like you can be that for that. You know, your family.
That's awesome.
I say be open. You know, like if you care or if you like want to care or whatever, like to show that, like kind of be open. I mean, I don't want anybody to like be taken advantage of or feel taken advantage of either, right? So don't, like still be able to gauge it, but be open and like actually like make an attempt and make attempts, and it's important for like the patriarch to like kind of put things together to like give y'all a platform to be open and even with them and all that. So I would say that.
I would just say drop the expectations and literally just sit down and accept and really hear, like listen to who you're surrounded by and just really give everyone a chance, to be who they are and work with them, because in reality we're all going through something. It's always it's literally something going on, so just spread the love and never give up, just keep going.
Absolutely. I would say throw blood out the window. Once you do not date your siblings, okay? Don't date your new siblings. That's not what that's about. The blended family, okay? They're your new siblings. So encourage each other, uplift each other, build each other, be kind to one another, because this world can be not kind. And so when you're in the blended family, and when you're in your family period, be kind. That somebody, the only kindness they may see is you. So just be that person that will build.
Wow. I am just flabbergasted right now. I'm trying to think of something to say, which is not hard for me at times. But the reality is that this is the holiday season, and one of the most strenuous times is when families get together. What I would say, allow forgiveness to be one of your chief focus this holiday season. And forgiveness takes time. Forgiveness has to be practiced rather. And I think when you understand that we all, like Whit said, we all going through, we all have our own internal stuff going on. But if you could just lay that to a side and let forgiveness and enjoy your family, because one of the things we all know, that families are precious. This time is short. and understand how valuable you are as a blended family. And you deserve
Yes.
happiness.
Yeah.
And you don't have to repeat history of the negativity and the toxicity that's been in your family. Here's the thing, last thing I'll say. You can be the one to be the game changer. You can make a difference in your blended family. Bring your holistic, happy spirit, jovial spirit to the family. Say, listen, for the last 5 years, we've been arguing and fussing about. Let's change it. Let 2019 holidays be the best holidays in our family. Just set memories. When you set memories in your family, they can remember them for the rest of their lives. Take pictures, be smiling, don't complain about the food, don't complain about the gifts, don't complain about anything. Be thankful for what you do have versus for what you don't have. You know Doc D gonna keep it 100, and I may go a little long, but we love you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you tuning in. You can feel free to share and have a watch party, and we would just welcomed you into our blended family. So on that note, we're going to have a word of prayer.
Right, yes. Father God, we thank you so much for Tiff, Mike, Whitney, my wife Michelle, Lotus, Reagan, and Lil Mikey, and all our blended family connected, whether they are in the States or overseas. We pray that this episode will reach hearts and minds to let them know how valuable they are. Thank you for just this family vacation and our time together to share with our audience. Bless them during this holiday season. In the precious name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Bye-bye. We love you.
Stay tuned for another episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.